It all started on a quiet afternoon when a handwritten letter suddenly appeared on Kim Woo-bin's official fan cafe. There was no press release, no manager speaking on his behalf, no polished statement approved by a company. It was simply a photograph of a letter written in blue ink, the kind of letter you only write when something has been resting on your heart for a very long time. And the moment fans saw it, the internet stopped for a second. At first, people thought it was just a message of gratitude or a casual update about his work. But the tone of the letter was different. It sounded personal, almost trembling, like someone gathering the last bit of courage to finally speak a truth they had carried for years. When he wrote that he had something he should have said long ago, people felt a wave of anticipation rise in their chest. Of course, everyone knows by now that this letter announced his plan to marry Shin this December. But what caught fans off guard was the feeling that this was not simply an announcement. It felt like the final step of a promise, something quietly made in the past during a time when life was far more fragile. What made people pause was not only the marriage news, but the timing, the sincerity, and the strange sense that the letter was closing one chapter and opening another. Some fans even wondered whether this moment had been prepared years before, in a way no one outside their relationship could have understood. And that is where our story begins. To really understand the meaning behind that letter, we have to go back almost a decade to the moment when their story quietly began. Kim Woo-bin and Shin met during a simple commercial shoot, the kind of job both of them had done countless times. But something about that day stayed with them. Maybe it was the way they laughed between takes, or the comfortable silence when the camera stopped rolling. Whatever it was, it grew into something steady and genuine, the kind of relationship that does not need to be shown off to the world. When they confirmed they were dating in 2015, fans were surprised, but in the warmest way. People admired how low-key they were, how natural they seemed together. For a while, their story moved with a calm rhythm. No scandals, no noise, just two people choosing each other in the middle of busy careers. But everything shifted in 2017 when Woo-bin stepped away from the spotlight after receiving a diagnosis that would change both of their lives. For months, he disappeared from public view. Articles stopped, schedules were canceled. And in that silence, Shin stayed at his side. Not as a celebrity guarding her image, but as a woman caring for the person she loved. What many people do not know is that during that time, there were moments when Woo-bin considered stepping back from the relationship to protect her from the emotional weight he was carrying. Yet she never left. Their choice to remain together through something so painful created a bond that no camera could ever capture. If you have followed them through those years, feel free to share your own memories or thoughts in the comments. Your perspective matters here. The hardest part of their story began quietly, almost without warning, when Kim Woo-bin heard the words that no one ever expects to hear at his age. The diagnosis forced him to slow down, cancel nearly everything, and face a battle that demanded every bit of strength he had left. For a long time, fans only knew that he was resting, but behind the scenes, the reality was much heavier. Treatments were difficult, the future felt uncertain, and the man who had always been so driven and focused suddenly found himself wondering what tomorrow would even look like. During this period, while the world went on without him, he did something that almost no one knew about. He wrote a letter. Not the letter he released this year, but an earlier one, a private one, a letter he never sent. It was written late at night when the fear of not getting better felt the strongest. And in that letter, he expressed something that had been growing inside him long before the illness began. He wrote about how much Shin meant to him, how deeply he admired her, and how he wished he could ask her to build a life with him. At the time, he did not know if he would ever get the chance. But he never delivered that letter. He kept it tucked away because he believed a proposal should come from a man who could stand tall, not from someone fighting day to day just to stay healthy. He wanted to be strong again. He wanted to be fully present. and he wanted to look her in the eyes without fear when he finally asked her to walk through life with him. So he waited. They both waited. Through every appointment, every moment of uncertainty, they held on to a version of the future they hoped they would someday reach. And when he finally recovered, when his health returned and the world welcomed him back, he wrote a second letter. This time, it was ready to be shared. This time, it carried the strength he had fought so hard to regain. And this time, it carried a promise that began the night he realized how fragile life could be and how certain he was of the woman who never left his side. Once Kim Woo-bin returned to work and slowly stepped back into public life, people started to notice something different about the way he and Shin moved through the world together. Their relationship, once private and quiet, now carried a warmth that felt almost visible. Fans spotted them shopping together in a small clothing store, not hiding, not rushing, simply enjoying each other's company the way longtime partners do. A month later, photos surfaced from a trip to Japan, where they walked side by side like any other couple on vacation. There was no performance, no effort to appear perfect, just two people who had earned the right to be happy. In recent years, they have allowed small glimpses of their life to reach the public. Matching outfits, soft smiles, small gestures that say far more than big announcements ever could. And as their relationship deepened, so did their careers. Many critics in Korea have pointed out that both actors are entering the strongest artistic period of their lives, with the kind of maturity and range that only comes from experience. Some fans and industry writers have even compared their trajectory to Hyun-bin and Son Ye-jin, another couple whose love story grew alongside their professional success. More than one reviewer has suggested that if Woo-bin and Shin continue on this path, they could become the next pair to take home top acting honors, one day standing as Best Actor and Best Actress in the same award season. It is a future that feels entirely possible now, a future built not only on talent, but on everything they survived together. And now, after nearly 10 years of growing together through calm seasons and storms, they have chosen December as the month to begin the next chapter of their lives. It is not a random moment. For them, December holds a quiet meaning. It reflects the time of year when they first met, the season when their connection started to feel real, and the month when they learned to lean on each other in ways neither of them expected. Choosing December is their way of honoring the beginning while stepping confidently into the future they once only hoped for. Fans across Asia and around the world are already calling it the wedding of the year, a celebration not just of two famous names, but of a love that proved itself through hardship, patience, and loyalty. It is a story many people, especially those who have lived through their own journeys of love and loss, can relate deeply. Watching these two arrive at their moment feels like witnessing a promise finally being fulfilled. As their wedding day approaches, one thing is clear. Their commitment to each other has shaped them into stronger individuals, and together they are stepping into a future filled with possibility. Whether it is new roles, new awards, or new dreams, they will be facing them side by side, the way they always have. This video was created based on recent information from social media and online reactions, with a few added details to keep the story flowing naturally. There is no intention to mislead anyone. If you notice anything that should be corrected, please let us know in the comments. And if you would like to stay updated with the latest news, please remember to like, share, and subscribe.